Chadwick, and today, y'all have been asking me over and over again, Kristin, how do we do YouTube? And I humbly say that is not my genre of expertise. And so I have reached out to my amazing network of friends and colleagues here with specifically Brand Builders Group. And I have connected with Kati, and Kati is going to be our YouTube expert today. But first, I want to let Kati introduce herself to our listeners and just welcome you to the show, Kati.
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you so much for having me. Um, I have to say, YouTube has changed sort of my life. And so I'm excited to talk to you about this today. I am a real estate agent by trade. That is what I have done for many years, about 13 years. I have a successful real estate team in the Chicagoland area and also in Northeast Florida. And I had started on YouTube about, I don't know, I guess about 7 years ago, just doing average, what people do,
Mm-hmm.
and did not have much luck with it. I wasn't trying very hard. And then about 2 years ago, I ended up having a new real estate agent come on my team became my partner. And he has been on YouTube for 15 years. And so when he came in, he really kind of guided me and told me what to do. But I've had so much marketing and branding experience from all my years of doing real estate, and I had a design firm for many years, that the combination of the two of us skyrocketed our channel. So last year at this time, I had maybe 100 subscribers. I wasn't really sure how to do it, but then I finally sort of went all in, and I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. And since then, we just hit 40,000 subscribers this past week. It's been pretty amazing. We have had over 14,000 downloads of our free lead magnet. We have referred over 600 sellers out to agents across the country. And we've actually brought in, since the beginning of the year, I'd say we brought in probably about $300,000 so far.
Wow.
And we've built a whole new revenue model, which is crazy. We've had over 3.5 million views, and I have a Facebook group of just my viewers, about 2,500. So my whole life in what I'm doing on my day-to-day has changed since I started YouTube, and I'm excited to share it with you.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you're an expert in this genre of there's so many podcasters that are thinking about starting YouTube, and you are an excellent example of you've dabbled and then all of a sudden you hit this secret
Right.
sauce almost.
Yeah.
So I'd love for you to share, like, what was that turning point? I know you said you had the background in marketing, and then you had your partner come in and help you in that area. But
Mhm.
what was that shifting for you guys?
So I think there's a lot of different things about it. And the main thing is to focus on the fact that you can only speak to one audience on YouTube. That's it.
Mhm.
And that one audience that's the only people you can be speaking to. And so when I first started, I was talking to sellers, I was talking to buyers, I was coaching real estate agents, trying to recruit agents. And so my whole repertoire of videos was like all over the place, which was
Mhm.
fine because then people who knew me would go there.
Mhm.
What I realized though is YouTube is not about people who know you. YouTube is about people who are looking for information.
Mm.
And so when you're on YouTube, your personality doesn't really, like, who you are doesn't matter anymore. Like,
Mhm.
I rarely say my name on my videos anymore. I'm not talking about my real estate and all the stuff that I do. All these people are doing is they are finding me because of the content and the information that I'm providing to them.
Mm.
And then they start to trust me. So we've sort of created something that's called a YouTube trust funnel,
Oh.
which is, we try so hard to get people into our sphere by, buying leads or all this stuff. And it's probably a little bit about how your podcasts work is people find you, right? And then
Mhm.
they trust you and they like you. And that is what YouTube is about. So it's very, very similar, but you have to be extremely focused on exactly the content and who you're speaking to. You have to have an avatar. You have to understand that if you veer off that topic, YouTube is going to probably ding you. And the algorithm on YouTube is very, very specific, and it's also very hard to understand. So once I started to kind of understand I needed to speak to one audience, it exploded, completely exploded.
That's so interesting because with podcasting, it's very similar in the fact that just get really clear on that one person and how you can serve them. But I love that you're saying it's almost like a Google search, basically.
Mhm.
So if somebody's coming to you and as a real estate agent, they're like, well, I want to know about being a first time home buyer.
Right.
And so that would be the magic sauce to get them into your channel, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So basically what happens is we've sort of cornered the market on a search term on YouTube. So if you go to YouTube and you search sell your home, you are going to see a lot of my videos. You're going to see my channel, and it's very specific in what you name your channel and your handle. It's very, very specific. You have to be very focused on that. I decided in about December of last year that we were going to focus on only sellers. That's where my heart is. That's what I love teaching and telling people about, is how to get their homes ready to sell. And so that was what I decided all of my content was going to be about. My whole channel went to sell your home. And so people who are typing in a search anywhere like Google or YouTube, say, how do I get my home ready to sell? How do I stage my home? How do I price my home? How do I choose a real estate agent? All of these things will then bring up my video. And then what will happen is that they'll watch one of my videos and they're like, that's kind of interesting. Okay. Maybe they don't subscribe, but then when they're back on YouTube, YouTube will push my other videos to their homepage.
Oh,
And
interesting.
that's when they see it again and they're like, oh, you know what? I kind of like that woman. I don't even know who she is, but she had some good information. So then they watch it again. Again, they may not subscribe, but then they might be starting to sort of trust me a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to really corner a search term. Not that we get a lot of people searching, but YouTube sort of knows what
Yeah.
people are looking for, and it
Yeah.
puts it in front of them.
Yeah. It's, which is awesome because I know with podcasting, that's not that way. You don't go into Apple podcasts after you've listened to one episode and then it pull up other things that you might like
Right.
that maybe you didn't download or follow that show, which is unique in itself. So the advantage of doing YouTube is that YouTube is working towards really gaining new people into
Yes.
your space. That's
Yes,
cool.
YouTube rewards you for doing well and having good content. Really,
Okay.
truly having good content, you get rewarded and they push you out even more. So the more YouTube pushes you out, the more traction you're going to get. And it's just a constant. Now, what we've tied into it is our free lead magnet, which many YouTubers don't have. And that is the way you can make money. So we've actually made money on YouTube, not from AdSense, not from, which we have, we cover our expenses now, but we make real money on YouTube. And so there are a lot of YouTubers that are flailing around thinking that
Mhm.
what they need to do is get views. And that's not true. What you need to do is you need to make sure you have that lead magnet and make sure that you are capturing and speaking to what these people are looking for. And then you're building that relationship with them. So it's this funnel of having them trust you, and then download your free lead magnet, and then you're continuing to get them to trust you. And by the time they're ready to buy whatever it is, they trust you
Yeah.
implicitly.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. I love that. So the lead magnet is like baked in already to your channel.
Yeah.
So what would be your advice there as far as like, is it a specific type of lead magnet? Is it,
Mhm.
how do you align that into your channel?
So that's a great question. So one of the first videos that took off that we did was called "What to Update in Your Home." Or avoid these home updates. And in the video, I said, oh, I've got a list of updates down below in the description that you can use that you should update in your home if you're thinking about selling. Well, I forgot that I did that when the video went out. and it took off. The video like it was our first like kind of viral video, and viral for us was like we had like 1,000 views,
Yeah.
but we only had 100 subscribers, so that was 10 times the number of subscribers
Oh my goodness.
that we had. And so then somebody wrote, because then I was like, oh my gosh, I need a lead magnet. So what I put in there is said, oh, just email me, and then I'll email you back. And somebody wrote in the comments and said, this is such a scam. You're just looking for our emails. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I wrote back, I said, no, actually, I just don't have it ready yet. So from that, what I did is I called it my seller's playbook. And I started by saying, what do you update in your home if you're thinking about selling? And it has now become this 40-page free ebook. It's honestly unbelievable, the
Wow.
content that I've created. And so now, so sorry about that. So now what happens is that, people are downloading our playbook. That's what's been downloaded over 14,000 times.
Wow.
And then they're getting a follow-up drip campaign. And the playbook people would buy. I'm confident they would buy it, but I'm giving away so much value. Now they trust me. Our final ask is that they use us to help them find an agent across the country, a real estate agent. And so we're building that trust. We're building that rapport. We're sending them the playbook. We're sending them the drip. And then I'm saying, if you need an agent in your area, let me know. And that is our final ask.
Wow.
So that's how it just kind of funnels down.
Yeah. And that totally makes sense. And I want to touch on too, because as podcasters, we talk a lot about lead magnets, which is all really helpful to know how to do this and transfer it into YouTube as well. And the other top question I get, especially with podcasting, is how do I make money as a podcaster?
Yes.
But as a YouTuber, the lead magnet is definitely one way, but I know there's like a whole different level of monetization inside of YouTube. Can you speak
Yes.
to any of that?
So the way a lot of people view YouTube is that they're going to be rich and famous from AdSense, which is what YouTube calls its payouts. And, we've been following this a lot because my business partner has been doing YouTube for 15 years. So he knows a lot about this. And I'm a little bit newer into it, but AdSense is when they pay you for the number of views that, you get, basically. A lot of complicated stuff that goes into it.
Okay.
So you can make money on AdSense. So we started covering our expenses, our video editor, our VA at I'd say about month 4, where we were doing really well. So right now, we're somewhere between $2,000 and $4,000 a month that we're making. Now, you can't live off that. That's the problem. And people are thinking that's how you're going to have to, continue to do this. And I challenge people, and we teach a class about this, is that we're so focused on making sure our people make money. Because I'd rather you only have 1,000 views and make money than 100,000 view viral video. Like, that is the key. And so many people go into YouTube and don't understand this. And if I could say anything to anybody, like, getting views is not the winner. That is not what people should be focused on. They should be absolutely focused on their free lead magnet and translating that into sales. Yes. That's it. Whether you have 500 views or 500,000 views, that's the main focus.
Yeah, that's really good to know. Because that's what's converting. I love that. That's what you are basically saying is like, we need that one step further. And okay, so here's a question for you with regards to that, because it's about views and really capturing new listeners, new watchers of YouTube. Have you seen a difference between YouTube shorts versus long form video?
Yeah. Oh, so I've done the shorts. We went all in on the shorts, and we were putting out one a day for like 3 months. And they're a lot of work, and they don't make any money, and they don't get viewers. Okay. They may get you viral, which is great, but YouTube is all about long form content. People want to sit there and learn.
Hmm.
Shorts are like TikTok. You're going very fast. They're two totally different audiences. And it's very hard to connect and trust people through their shorts.
Yeah.
So that's why we've really stopped doing shorts, not because I don't believe in them, but because it wasn't supporting our end goal.
Hmm.
And our end goal is to capture leads and to get agent referrals.
Yeah. Yeah.
It wasn't doing that. So they're not necessarily bad, but again, it's so hard because even when I'm like, oh my gosh, that video did really not great. I mean, it was still like 5,000 views. I'm like feeling like, oh, it didn't work, but we got, 150 leads off of it.
Hmm.
So like I need to even step back and say, okay, it's not always about the views, it's about the leads. So that's the problem with shorts is it doesn't always achieve the goal that you're looking to achieve.
Yeah.
Mhm,
Okay. And I see that if you're purely a YouTube channel.
mhm.
So one of the things I've heard for podcasters specifically is the YouTube Shorts actually helps pull them into listening to the full episode. And so I don't know. It could go
So
debating.
there are a couple of YouTubers out there that successfully do it.
Yeah.
Um, we have not found that to be the case. Now,
Okay.
the other thing is that if you're recording for YouTube, you have to record just for YouTube. Like it is not, you
Good.
can't do YouTube and then take it and put it on Instagram or put it on TikTok or Facebook. It doesn't work. Like
Hmm.
you have to specifically record for YouTube. So can you say it's supposed to bring in? But remember, the people who are viewing shorts on YouTube are the people who are not looking for a lot of information. They're looking for entertainment.
Ooh, that's good.
So
Yeah.
it's a different audience.
Okay. Yeah. And that makes sense. Okay. So with the I'm thinking of other questions that my podcasters are going to be
Yeah.
asking as they're listening. Do the art tiles matter?
The
And
thumbnails.
yes, the thumbnails.
Yeah.
And how do you decide what to put on there?
So thumbnails and titles are imperative, like
Yeah.
super, super important. So I have a graphic design and marketing background. My business partner did not. And so he was very much like, we do this, we do this, we do this. And I was like, well, this, we had my graphic design, my editor do the thumbnails and they just didn't look good, but I didn't think it mattered. And then I will tell you, finally, because I'm like a marketing genius. Like that's one of the traits I feel like I have in my
Hmm.
whole life. And finally, I was like, okay, this is ridiculous that I don't understand YouTube. I need to dig in. And so by digging in, what I said is, I am changing these thumbnails to look better. I don't know if it will help, but the moment I changed the thumbnail, our views went up like this. It was crazy. It
Wow.
just went skyrocketing up. And that video got like 100,000 views in a matter
Wow.
of 2 months when it had already been out for a couple of months. And
Wow.
by changing the thumbnail and by changing the title. So it's super important and it's very frustrating as well because there's no real understanding as to why. And like, I've done this numerous times. We'll put a thumbnail out and a title and the video goes nowhere. And then I change it like that and then it takes off.
Wow.
And it's
And
hard to understand that.
and you can't find like a common thread? Like, is it
I mean,
keywords, colors?
so yeah, there is a common thread. So first of all, I believe your title has to be an engaging topic. Like it can be a story topic. So one of our first videos that went crazy viral was a video where I had sellers who had gotten sued. And they ended up getting sued by buyers who didn't even buy the house. And they ended up losing. And
Whoa.
so my title was just like, it was like, my sellers got sued by the buyers and they didn't even buy the house. Okay. And then the thumbnail was just me in like close up head and said, don't get sued. So your title has to be kind of catchy. Your thumbnail needs to have very few words.
Yeah.
You have to really have your picture on there. I've
Okay.
tried it without, but what happens is that you make more of a connection when you have some type of an emotion in your face.
Mm.
That's why a lot of people have done these like crazy, like shocked faces and like I don't personally like those for myself. That's not really my brand.
Hmm.
But when I'm just like smiling, our videos don't do as well. When I'm just kind of like looking,
Yeah.
like with an emotion, they
Right.
do much better. So, thumbnails and titles are an art and a science.
Okay.
And here's what I will say is that if you're going to do YouTube, you have to make it a lifestyle. YouTube has to be a lifestyle. You're not going to succeed by accident on YouTube.
Mm.
You have to be deliberate in it and you have to start thinking, okay, that thumbnail didn't work right. What was in it that didn't work? Now maybe I'll try this one.
Wow. Yeah.
Mhm.
There's a lot of thought that goes
There is.
into and navigating like, okay, this is working, this is not working.
Right.
And even just the nuances of picking out the right photo of you is wild to me. And
Yeah, it's hard.
yeah. What about like colors? Are bright colors more uh clickable than
So we've done like one of our videos we did 2 weeks ago. I did like bright, bright green behind me. And it didn't do great. The video didn't
okay.
do great. So I think that's because the topic was just a little more boring, a little more staid.
Mhm.
Um, yes, I would say yes, brighter colors are better, but again, that doesn't necessarily do it. It's a matter of the proportion of your head size. How big is your head? I
Mm.
think your head needs to kind of fill the page. The words need to be legible, and there needs to be an answer. It needs to kind of evoke curiosity in that picture.
Hmm.
So, like, I did one of our big videos that we did, we try to kind of pull into a little bit of a different audience, is selling your home after 60. So I really struggled on this thumbnail. I knew what I wanted to talk about. I named the video times have changed, selling your home over 60.
Hmm.
The thumbnail I couldn't really figure out. And so I did myself there, but then I used a picture of an older couple. Our demographic who watches my channel is 85% over the age of 45.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's pretty crazy, and mostly women
Mm.
over 65. So I knew what picture would resonate, and then I had like a for sale sign. And it said over 60 on the for sale sign. So by looking at that thumbnail, you didn't necessarily have to know what the title was.
Mm.
And that's sort of the key is what is the thumbnail saying um, to the viewer that you don't have to look at the title, but it can't be repeated. Like
Yeah.
that's not the best way to do it.
Wow. So interesting. And it's like so its own beast
It
for
is.
sure.
It is. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, this is all super helpful and a great overview of really what it takes to be in the YouTube space and having that intentionality, that energy to put work into really showing up well inside of YouTube. Is there anything that like advice that you would give to somebody who is just starting out that we didn't cover?
So it's hard.
Mm.
It's hard because you have to get on video. That's the first step. In this in this class we teach that it was our first class that we did, and we have half the people in there haven't even gotten on video yet, and half the people already have a channel. And there is such a hump between the people who literally haven't even started recording and the people who have like 100 videos under their belt.
Hmm.
And so I'm watching this from the outside and trying to get these people who have never been on YouTube to actually videotape that's really hard. Like the
Hmm.
people who have been on YouTube, we can train, and teach and tell them what to do, tweak the thumbnail, do this, do that. It's the people who haven't even gotten on camera. And you have to do every video in order to get better.
Hmm.
So I'm sure you probably teach this as well with your podcast, is that you're not going to be great the first time
Hmm.
or the second time, or maybe even the third time. But after you've done 100 or 200 or 300 of them, you're going to be great.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't get to be 300 without doing the first
Yes.
5.
Uh-huh.
And so what I would say to somebody who's just starting is first pick who you're talking to. Like, know that avatar.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically, who are you talking to? And then start recording. And your idea is just to tell a story. It doesn't matter your camera. It doesn't matter if you have a microphone. It doesn't matter the quality, because the more authentic and real you are on YouTube, the more connection you get. Now, this is probably going to be a little bit different than podcasts, because on podcasts, you have to have that quality. You
Mm-hmm.
have to have that sound.
Mm-hmm.
On YouTube, you don't. You can
Okay.
be yourself and a mess,
Mm-hmm.
and your audio doesn't work. Your video maybe isn't great. Like, this is my background. This is just my regular background. And
Mm-hmm.
the more authentic you are, the more connection you'll get on YouTube.
Hmm.
The more professional you are, the more distance you put between you and your viewers, because they feel like, wow, I'm not as good as this person.
Wow.
So just start recording and don't worry about your equipment.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry about anything other than just record and tell a story to your audience that you would tell normally to anybody. That's it. That's all it has to be. It's just a story. That's it.
Hmm. Such good advice. I
Mhm.
love that. And it does take the pressure off a little bit from the previous conversation of like all the things that it entails as far
No,
as like after production. But there's also like you've hired somebody to help you in that department, but you also started with getting your hands dirty and trying to figure it out and coming together with somebody else that was
right.
wanting to take off. And I think the overall picture here is that you can absolutely do this.
Yeah.
And you are such a great example of somebody who was like, you know what, we're going to figure this out.
Yes.
And you did it. So
Yeah.
kudos to you.
Thank
And
you very much.
yeah, Katie,
Thank you.
thanks so much for being
Absolutely.
here. You're
Absolutely.
you are an inspiration for all of us and in the podcasting
And I am
space.
always, I'm always available, for a conversation, or anybody who ever wants to reach out. Or even if you have like a channel, just shoot me an email and I'll tell you what I think on
Mm,
it. I have found this to be so amazing in a way that I didn't think I could have in my career at this point in my life.
mm,
It's just been real wonderful ride. And I
uh,
never thought I could do it. So
that's great.
good luck. Yeah.
Thank you so much, you guys. Is there other places that people can connect with you? I know, yeah, mention your YouTube channel for sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can go to Sell Your Home, just search Sell Your Home on YouTube and you'll see it. We're called Sell Your Home, the Profitable Homeowner. If you're if you want to subscribe, go ahead. It's all about, selling your home. So we don't, you don't have to subscribe. That's not the point. And that's one thing you need to know is you don't necessarily want your friends to subscribe if they're not going to watch. So feel free to
Interesting.
subscribe. You want to subscribe, that's great. We do teach a class. More than happy to share a video that we did earlier
Hmm.
on our journey as well.
Yeah,
And you
that would be
can,
great.
yeah, I don't know. Do you want me to say where to go for that?
Sure, go
Yeah.
for it. Yeah.
Okay. If you guys want to watch that video, you can go to profitable.homes/113.
Okay.
And that has the video with me, and you'll see my business partner as well. And we just talk about our experience and what we learned and about the YouTube trust funnel. And it's
Cool.
just so different. But YouTube is a way of life, but
Yes.
you can do it. You just have to be focused. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, thank you so
Yeah.
much for all of your knowledge and your wisdom that you have shared with us. And you guys, I can't wait to hear who's inspired to go start
Yeah.
that YouTube channel. It's going to be a great way to really connect with your audience in a different way, for sure.
Absolutely. Good luck, everyone.
All right. Take care.